I'm around now many parents and I see my niece and nephew, and I see that my brother and sister-in-law are very busy and don't have time to cook as much. And usually it is the pizzas and everything else that the kids get to eat that I don't think are very nutritious. But I see you, and you have children, and you're posting that, yesterday you were snapping the asparagus, which was an amazing tip that I never knew, where to snap them and what to cook, what to throw away. Amazing. And nature shows you, right? Bend, throw away, eat. But what do you say to those parents that say, listen, I'm working a very hard 9-to-5 job. I get home, I'm tired. Sometimes I have bills and I have to clean and I have to do all this stuff. I just don't have time to cook and my kids, aren't interested in vegetables. What do you say to them?
Well, it does go back to the value shift, right? Mm-hmm. We all got our planners out and we're doing our to-do lists and we're planning out the week. Are we putting food there? Or are we just getting home or texting our spouses or significant others and saying, hey, have you thought about dinner? What are we doing for dinner tonight? Or are you getting ahead of it and just planning? And the reality is, I see so much overthinking of what it can mean to just put a simple, delicious meal on the table. And you bring up your babcha. My wife is from Poland, and I observe babcha when I'm actually going to see her in a couple months. And the simplicity of meals in her house, right, in her approach, right, is incredible. Mm-hmm. And there are times where I'll go over her house, because someone else's food always tastes the best, right? Sometimes I'm just in awe of how she can coax out such just delicious food, right? Very aromatic, right? And so satisfying. And the reality is that it's simple, it's real ingredients. She's making it with all the love in the world, right? And I'm not saying you have to take home your whole fish or start with a whole chicken, right? But with the right intention, right, of just committing, night in and night out to just getting real food in the house, just make a soup, put a piece of fish in, put something in the oven with a little bit of olive oil and salt and call it a day, saute some asparagus, make some black rice. It's once you just get into a rhythm, and a lot of what I'm working on with people is kind of creating flow, right? In this part of our lives. I happen to believe that if we can create flow with food and with our kitchen rituals, it bleeds into the other places we want so much to have flow, right? We're all working on, getting flow in the workplace and in our work. It's how can I really accomplish a lot today, right? Let's get this right first, right? If we are not getting this right first, we are not living a healthy and optimal life, right?
Yeah.
And we know that, right? So let's just take a deep breath and let's zoom out a second and ask ourselves, what the hell are we doing? We're first human beings alive in this incredible planet full of abundance, right? Are we going to take advantage of that? Are we going to celebrate it? Are we going to have so much fun with that? We can do anything. We can do anything. Let's just spend more time in celebrating where food, fits into all of this. And I know, I know some people are just I hear you, but I just don't even like cooking. At the very least, if you can commit to, okay, at the very least, source differently, right? And I think just doing a little bit of the cooking process kind of flips light bulbs and say, you know what, I'm at least going to be more careful about some of the choices that I'm making that involve outsource. Because, there are amazing companies doing amazing things that are really trying to do right by all of us by creating healthy products, right? And I'm not saying you have to go home and make everything from scratch, right? But I think if you can start to ask questions, where's my food coming from? What's in this? Read some ingredients, right? Not that I think we should be eating very many foods with ingredients at all, right? Other than the one that whole food is. It's a journey, and we're all starting from different places. There's no shame I grew up and I was thrilled if my dad brought home, bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits from McDonald's breakfast. That was one of my favorites, right?
Yep.
We're all coming at it from different places. And let's get more curious. Let's talk to each other much more. Let's be really open. I know how hard this conversation is with families that are approaching things differently, especially where it comes from a parenting standpoint and going to parties and being exposed to different stuff and what's my kid allowed to eat versus others. But, if we can come at this without judgment and just kind of open hearts and talk openly, because I think this is the most important conversation that we can be having, right? Mm-hmm. Where's our food coming from? How are we producing it? How are we going to make sure that we're all getting, what sets us up to thrive as human beings? So we have energy and we're excited to be alive and work on, complicated things and coming up with creative, fun solutions. I think food is the center of that. And I think it's undervalued, although I think you and I would agree that it's shifting. And people are intuiting that there's a better way, right? That there's a different way, right? People are so tired of feeling sick and not having energy and having symptoms, like constant symptoms of something, right? So I see it as an exciting path ahead.